Shock Monkey Radio is created by adults for entertainment purposes. The views and opinions expressed here do not reflect the sponsors or FXPG Public Radio. For additional information, refer to the U.S. Bill of Rights. Stand warned. Anyway, so you were talking about sitcoms, weren't you? You were just talking about sitcoms? Somebody was talking about sitcoms. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Jeanie's belly button from I Dream of Jeanie. Now, here was something that was a big deal in the 60s, is that, they started doing things like showing people's belly buttons on TV. And it was sort of a controversy. I think, like, I Dream of Jeanie was probably one of the most notable things because she was constantly in the Jeanie costume. Every now and then, Ginger might wear something on Gilligan's Island. Every now and then, that will show her belly button. And I think even on Star Trek once, Uhuru showed her belly button. And so there was this thing that was a kind of a controversy. It's like, we don't want to be showing people's belly buttons. And this is what life was like before the internet. This was, people would have these conversations in these rooms, these powerful television executives having conversations like, well, why can't we show her belly button? I want to see her belly button, and it was all a bunch of dudes, obviously. Like, I want to see her belly button. And you know what? There was this trend as well in journalism, where all this the peace, love, and all that whole movement, the whole hippie movement, if you will, in the United States in the 60s, was covered by journalists because there were frequently involved photographs of scantily clad young women. All right, and so you send a photographer and a journalist out to Woodstock or something like that, and the photographer, being a dude, is going to sit there and just snap pics of hot chicks all day. That's just the kind of pervs we are. We're all, pervs like that. And so, and people ate it up. They love that kind of journalism, They wanted to see that kind of thing. They wanted to envision a hippie life where you get to bang a bunch of funky-smelling girls, funky-smelling hotties. But when it comes to, like, the belly button, showing the belly button on TV, particularly I Dream of Jeanie, I think I read somewhere that she had, like, a little plug, a flesh-colored plug that they had to, like, put on her belly button because they didn't want her to show a belly button on TV. And I can't imagine, going down to the props department and asking, is like, we want you to get, like, what was her name? Barbara Eden's. We want you to get, we're going to have to make a mold of Barbara Eden's belly button so it fits securely in there. It doesn't come out while she's moving around on set. And so, and this is all apart from the conversations in the boardrooms. There's like, he's like, you can't show the belly button. It could remind people of the vagina. Seriously, like, there could have had people saying stuff like this in boardrooms, censorship and stuff like that. Some censors, television censors, so we can't show that. It will make people think of sex. And it's like, well, why do you have this? It's basically like a sex slave fantasy for a dude. The whole I Dream of Jeanie thing is you have this hot chick in a bottle you can, rub on the bottom. An old bottle of Jim Beam or something. Out she pops, and it's a hot chick with no belly button. So who knows what else is, because you don't know, what else is under there. If she has no belly button, you have no idea what that gin is. There was also the controversy about shows like Bewitched and I Dream of Jeanie, where they're talking about, like, occultism in Bewitched because of witchcraft and so forth. And it's like there's a bunch of Christians who are like, oh, we're going to boycott Bewitched because it promotes witchcraft. And I was like, relax. It's not like it's a show teaching spells. All right. And I don't think that there are any such thing as spells. So, yeah, and they were talking about, like, in a genie, for example, it's been used in, obviously, like, plenty of lore over the centuries. But I mean, it's basically an obscure, like, Mesopotamian, I want to say, I may be wrong, Mesopotamian monster. And I think they've even made recent movies about, like armies fighting jinn over there in the Middle East. And so, I mean, people thought that, because it wasn't, like, Christian in origin, it was, it was bad. And so, I Dream of Jeanie's bad. And you get, they showed her belly button on TV. Oh my God. It was the 60s, You know, a guy got murdered on television, okay? You can't show a belly button? Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald was murdered on live television. All right? Can't have a belly button for I Dream of Jeannie. It's just a stupid show. And it is. They're all stupid shows. All those shows in the 60s, if you watch them today under, our understanding of how like pacing and comedy works in this modern era, they're absurd. They're absurd. It's like getting a comic book from 1945. It is incredibly boring in comparison to modern comic books. I don't know if you've ever got a hold of a golden age comic book, or even gone online and found some of these places where you can read old comic books. You can go look back at those old comics in the 40s and 50s and like, man, they were awful in comparison. They were awful. Because I mean, the art form evolves. The art form evolves over time. So I mean, and that was part of what happened in the 60s, is that the art form evolved by allowing belly buttons on TV for the first time. But then again, they're also making shows like Batman, where they just turned Batman into a living cartoon character. Not that there was anything wrong with that, because I mean, I do appreciate a little bit of Adam West and Burt Ward from time to time. All right, but I mean, you're talking about a very interesting decade when it comes to American culture, and that's the 60s. And all of this plays into, what has caused, America on this path, wherever we are today. It's the way our culture works. I know nobody, half of you out there who are listening probably don't even know what I Dream of Jeannie is. You don't remember watching Bewitched on a black and white television. All right. TV was horrible back in the day. Anyway, so I just thought it was interesting. I don't know, for some reason I was thinking of I Dream of Jeannie's belly button. I don't know. I think it was because porn wasn't as abundant as it is today. So you'd have to sit there and think, watch I Dream of Jeannie and just memorize her body or something like that as best you can.